Hey guys, welcome to the Prosta English podcast. My name is Nika and I'm the host of this show. This podcast was created for English learners. Here we discuss various interesting topics such as traveling, daily routines, healthy lifestyle, friendship, relationships, and so on. I'm sure that with the help of these episodes, you will improve your listening skills and learn many cool words and phrases that you can use in your own speech. So please follow the podcast so you do not miss the next episodes. And let's get started. A few days ago, when I was thinking about a topic for a new episode, I realized that I've never shared with you how I usually spend my weekends. I believe that if I ask you guys the question, what is your favorite part of the week? Many of you would say that it's the weekend. And to be honest, I'm no exception. Do not get me wrong, I love my job and I'm really passionate about everything I do. But like most people, I always look forward to Saturday and Sunday to relax, unwind, and switch my mind off work, at least a little bit. I'm self employed, I work for myself, run my own school, and I have lots of students and many responsibilities every single day. And like most people who have their own business, I almost never stop thinking about work. Really, almost never. Since my income depends on me and my work is on my phone, I end up working almost all the time when I'm not sleeping. Let me share my typical working day and you will understand. I usually wake up at 7 a.m. and I immediately grab my phone to check chats and messages on Telegram. I might have some messages from students or teachers, so I try to reply while I'm still in bed. Then I usually conduct 2 or 3 classes in a row, and after that, I have breakfast and get busy with courses. I add new lessons to the platform, for example, or create activities in chats and organize additional events for students like meetings with native speakers, or movie clubs where we discuss series and movies. Later, I might post content on Telegram or Instagram. On Instagram, I create stories, reels, or posts. Most often, I post stories at least 3 or 4 times a week. I always try to make my stories interesting and engaging, so it takes me about 2 or even 3 hours to plan everything, post it, and then communicate with you guys in direct messages. After that, I prepare for evening classes. I always look for interesting materials to discuss and create nice presentations. And then I conduct 2 or 3 evening classes. Sometimes there are days when I do not post anything on Instagram or Telegram, but I work on the podcast. It takes about 9 or 10 hours of work to release one episode, which is only 15 to 20 minutes long. Crazy, right? Let me explain why it takes so long. First of all, I need to come up with a topic which will be relevant, useful, and inspiring for you guys. Then I sit down and I write a brief plan in the notes on my phone. This plan includes the key points that I want to mention in the new podcast. Maybe some interesting facts or some stories from my life or even some jokes. Then I record an episode. It really depends on the day. When I have a clear head and a great mood, it takes me only 1 hour to record one podcast. But if I'm sad, if I have some troubles in my life, or I do not feel good physically, this process can take more time. After that, I edit the podcast and only then I send the audio to the audio editor, and she makes it sound the way you hear it, with special sounds, with an intro, without any long pauses, and so on. Finally, I create a title and a description for the podcast. Then I must release the new episode and let you guys know on social media that now you can listen to it. But that's not all. Some time ago, I started getting lots of messages from you guys saying that you want the text of the podcast because sometimes you do not understand some words, but you would like to understand everything I say here. So I've recently created the Prosta English Club. It's a channel on Telegram where you can find the text of the audios, cards with new words, and some small interactive exercises with these words, which will help you memorize them better. To be honest, I really love this project because I believe that it's super useful. You do not just listen to the audios, but you carefully pay attention to new phrases in the text. And in this case, you memorize them much better and faster. And later, you can use these words and phrases when you speak English with foreigners. So, just in case, if you do not understand some words and phrases I say, but you would like to understand 100%, I invite you to join the Prosta English Club. The price is really affordable and low, but at the same time, the value is priceless. So if you would like to buy access to this club, I invite you to my Telegram channel where you can find all the detailed information about it. As you can see, I have a lot of tasks on my plate, and during the work week, I usually work from 8 a.m. until 6 or 7 p.m. Some time ago, I used to have classes on Saturday and Sunday mornings. Yeah, just 1 or 2 classes. Doesn't sound much, but in reality, I didn't have any days when I could rest from people. I work with people. And my mission is not only to teach them English. I share a lot of energy. I try to inspire and bring at least a bit of positivity to their lives. I try to boost their mood and also make them smile. But I'm not a robot. I also need to recharge. And if I want to give something to people, I myself must be full of energy and positivity. That's why at a certain point, I consciously decided that I wouldn't have any classes on the weekend. Yeah, I can work and I usually do. For example, I post content on social media, answer messages, or consult people who want to join our courses. But no, I do not have any classes. As you've already guessed, Saturday and Sunday are more relaxed days for me. And I wanted to tell you what I usually do on those days. After listening to this episode, feel free to send me a message about what you like to do on the weekend, and maybe I can get some wonderful ideas from you guys and try something new. So, on the weekend, I usually wake up at 8 a.m. Maybe I would like to sleep until 9 a.m. or even 10 a.m., but my husband Paul always wakes me up early. He says that the weekend is too short to sleep in. At the beginning of our relationship, it annoyed me so much. And now some of my friends say that they would kill their husbands if they didn't let them sleep longer. But I don't know, I've already gotten used to it, and I can say that I'm used to waking up rather early on the weekend. Okay. After we wake up, we go to the kitchen to cook breakfast together. During the work week, I make breakfast for Paul in the evening and he takes snacks to work and eats there. But on the weekend, we always cook together. Paul cooks and I serve food, wash vegetables, and help him. For us, a proper breakfast definitely includes eggs. Fried eggs, sunny side up, omelets, scrambled, it doesn't matter. Then we have fresh vegetables and for sure, fried bread. At Christmas, Paul's parents gave us a toaster, and we adore heating up bread in this toaster. It becomes so crunchy and warm. Yeah, we love it. When we have breakfast, we always watch something on YouTube. We prefer travel shows. Usually, we choose shows about countries we haven't visited before or about China. Yeah, Paul and I spent a year living in China and we adore its culture and traditions. So, in case if we don't know what to watch or can't find any new videos we like, we can always watch something about China and it always lifts our spirits. Meanwhile, we drink coffee. Unfortunately, we do not have a coffee machine right now. We want to buy one, but we are still choosing the brand. So if you have a coffee machine, guys, and you are satisfied with it, please send me a message on Instagram with your recommendations and I would highly appreciate it. When we drink coffee, we like to eat some sweets. We can buy them at the nearest bakery in our district, or we can eat some Belarusian candies and treats. Sometimes when I travel back home, I bring some, or when our parents arrive, they also bring some Belarusian candies, and we save them to eat only on the weekend. After breakfast, we get ready to go outside. On the weekend, I like to wear something beautiful and stylish because most of my time I spend working from home. And even though I try to dress up properly, it doesn't happen every day. Most of the time when I work, I put on relaxed, casual clothes, and that's it. That's why on the weekend, I like to choose better looking clothes and they lift my spirits. Depending on our mood, we can drive either to the city center of Gdańsk or to the seaside. I don't know why it happens this way, but usually on Saturday we choose the city center and on Sunday the sea. Maybe because Sunday is a family day in Poland, and most people who live in Gdańsk like spending time at the beach. They go for walks there with their families, children, and dogs. Some people swim. Yeah, they swim in the cold water of the sea. It's a popular activity in Gdańsk during the cold season. To be honest, I don't know why people do it. I mean, I understand that it's healthy and most likely it's great for both your mental health and your metabolism, but at the same time, the water in the Baltic Sea is pretty cold, even in summer during the warmest weeks. And in winter, I cannot even imagine how cold it is and how people force themselves to enter this terribly cold water. Yeah, this kind of activity and sport is absolutely not my cup of tea. But when we go to the sea, we like to grab a cup of coffee and take a stroll for 5 or even 10 kilometers. If the sun is shining and there is no wind, even in winter, it's very pleasant to be next to the sea. While walking, my husband and I usually like to talk about life, discuss our jobs, and share some news from our families. Sometimes we can even walk in silence. For me, it's adorable when you can stay quiet and still feel comfortable with a person. So I really appreciate that. Sometimes after a stroll, we go to our favorite fish restaurant by the sea. Usually we order fish soup there. The soup is enough to make you feel full because there is a huge portion of fish meat. In the evening, when we come back home, we like to watch some movies together and eat some snacks. In our family, Paul is responsible for selecting the movies and he always finds some engaging and interesting ones. We like movies based on real stories or inspired by real stories. In addition to that, we adore watching science fiction, adventure films, and comedies. We absolutely never choose horror movies. We both think that our life nowadays is scary and terrifying enough. So when we have free time, we want to watch something inspiring and funny, something that motivates us and gives us hope for a bright future. Also, when I'm with Paul, we never watch romantic movies together. He thinks that they are too sweet, naive, cheesy, and girly. So, if I'm in the mood for a love story, I watch it when I'm alone. And usually, when I'm alone, I watch movies either in Polish or in English. But when I'm with Paul, we always watch movies translated into Russian, even though he speaks both English and Polish really well. Most probably, you're curious why it happens this way. But at work, Paul speaks several languages daily: Russian, Polish, English, and sometimes even Chinese. So in the evening, he says that he wants to switch his mind off and just relax from all the languages. Of course, how we spend our time on the weekend mainly depends on the season and the weather outside. The warmer the weather, the more energetic our weekend is, and the more time we spend outside. In summer, we can ride bikes, go rollerblading, sunbathe, and swim. We can also grill meat somewhere outdoors in the park, spend a day in a row park, or go camping. In winter, the list of activities is much more limited. But as I've already mentioned, we still try not to stay at home. We go for a walk, visit cafes to read books, or go to the cinema. Sometimes we travel to Warsaw to visit my brother-in-law and his girlfriend and explore the capital of Poland. Other times we drive to Sopot or to Gdynia. These are cities located close to Gdańsk. At the moment, that's it for today, guys. Thank you so much for listening to this episode of the podcast. I hope it inspired you to take time for yourself and have a proper rest. No matter what kind of weekend you prefer, active or slow and relaxed, take time off work. Switch off notifications, or even leave your phone at home. Focus on yourself, your family, or your friends, because it's essential to give yourself time to unwind and recharge. In this case, we will be happier and achieve better results both at work and in our personal lives. But I just wanted to remind you that if you want to speak English confidently and fluently, I invite you to join my courses for all levels, from beginners to advanced. If you enjoy listening to this podcast, you will definitely love taking part in Prosta English courses. We have absolutely everything you need to achieve the best results and boost your English to the next level. We have friendly and supportive teachers, an interactive platform for homework, inspiring topics for discussions, lots of speaking practice, and a highly motivated community of language learners. You can check the info in the description under this episode of the podcast. In addition, if you follow the link, you will get 7 video lessons that will help you improve your pronunciation. In these videos, I explain how to improve the main sounds in English so you can speak and sound better. I'm sure that these lessons will be helpful for you. So follow the link while the lessons are still available and get them free of charge. Thank you so much, guys, for your time and for choosing to stay with me today. Have an amazing day, and I'll talk to you next time.